One of the main foundations of survival is knowing the different plants and animals that can hurt and kill you. For example, if there would be someone that's never been to Pennsylvania before and they come here to visit Juniata College and you guys are wanting to go for a hike and then a camping trip, and it's in the summertime, you would want to let them know, like, hey, whenever you walk into the grass there, watch out for poison ivy. This is what poison ivy looks like, because you don't want your friend going out there and rubbing their face with poison ivy leaves and things like that, or even worse, going to the bathroom and wiping with poison ivy, because it would be unpleasant. So you would also tell them, hey, we have rattlesnakes, we have copperheads, this is what they look like. Tell them, watch out if there's a bee's nest, explain to them what that looks like. And we got bears, and you kind of think about it, there's like, all right, we got a long list of, there's the different poisonous plants, the snakes, and we got different types of venomous spiders and things like that can really mess you up. And it can sort of put you in a state of paranoia, which is what you want to avoid, because hiking to the Peace Chapel or hiking up to the 1,000 Steps, it's like, yeah, okay, you got to watch out for rattlesnakes and and this and that, but you don't really think nothing of it. You're used to it, and you know what to look for, where to be cautious about, to watch about rock outcroppings and things like that, and stepping over logs. But again, someone that's never been here before, you want to explain all that to them, and they may be like, well, I don't even want to go. It's like no, just know what to look for, know what to avoid, and you're fine. I mean, easy day. No worries about that. And that's the thing to remember whenever you're traveling. If you're going to be going to a rainforest area, I mean, there's a ton of venomous snakes, insects, poisonous plants, dangerous plants. There's the black palm down in Panama. You touch that, I mean, it's got these massive spikes coming at it, and you got to be careful that you're not like hiking along. Whew, man, I'm tired. I'm going to go lean up against this tree, and then you lean and you got all these massive thorns in your arms. So if you're in India, there's certain parts of India that has tigers. Do you got to be freaked out about it? No, you just talk to the locals, talk to professors especially that have been to these different areas, and ask them, hey, when there's if there's tigers in this area, what do I got to do to kind of be safe and things like that. Same thing, you're in grizzly bear country. A lot of folks, they say, hey, wear bells on your shoes and try to make noise and things like that. And when you set up your camp, put your food in a bag, keep it away from your camp, and tie it up in a tree. Things like that. That's a lot of survival. Just avoiding those dangerous things that can harm and hurt you. And hey, that's half of it right there. If you know all that stuff, you got half the battle won right already. One of the biggest things when you are in a situation like this is just occupying your time. We live in a society that, from the time you're a little kid, your parents hand you an iPad or an iPod and set you in front of the TV, playing video games and what have you. You're constantly just something electronic, something bright and flashing to kind of keep your mind occupied and busy. And that's a big problem that a lot of times people face. They're scared to death of being stuck in a situation like this, having to spend the night out in the woods without all the luxuries of home, with an RV or a tent stocked with coolers of food and what have you. But having the love of nature, just being thankful, being able to just enjoy whatever situation you're in. It's like, yeah, it's cold. You can see my breath. You can learn a lot from stories of folks in the past that have been in survival situations. There's average Joes and Janes that didn't really know anything about survival, and they've just found themselves in a situation where they had to survive, maybe for a few hours, maybe days or weeks or what have you, and they made it out. And just read those stories, and then read the ones of those that have been in survival situations and it didn't work out. Like search and rescue personnel end up finding them, and kind of read the report like, well, You know, if these people, if they just would have had a fire, or they would have gotten underneath a tree and kept out of the rain, they would have made it. And you'll find a lot of times it's just kind of simple things that could have made a world of a difference. And that's why having this basic understanding. I mean, you don't got to be an expert at this. I mean, it's going to take a lifetime of study to be what folks would consider an expert. But you just got to be average, because you'll be surprised that just having average knowledge, an average skill set at these skills, you know, you'll survive. You know, for example, flint knapping, making a knife out of bone or rock or what have you, glass, find some of that somewhere. You know, I mean, you might not be an expert that you can flint knap and make a very fine, just, you know, awesome looking flint knife. Maybe you can just bust away and chip away and it's just kind of crude looking and you got to hold it like this. But hey, it works. It cuts, serves a purpose. Average Joe. Hey, average Jane. You did it. No worries. That's all you need. I've taught survival at a lot of different places throughout the years. By no means am I an expert. I mean, I'm not just saying that, you know, out of false humility or whatever. It's like once you really start studying the stuff and you see what's out there, and you know, you see how good you can really get. I mean, it's very humbling, and you can see that there's a lot to learn, and it takes a lifetime of just practice and reading and studying and things like that just to learn all that stuff. And you know, I've made a lot of mistakes throughout the years, just some of it intentional, just to kind of experiment and just try something out. Like, okay, can I push myself in this type of terrain? You know, what have you. Mainly when it comes to shelter building, I'd be like, I don't need to really build that. And then I paid the man. You know, obviously I made it. Obviously I survived. I'm here talking to you right now, but it sucked. It could have been a more pleasant experience, but you know, a lot of your best lessons learned are ones that you learn the hard way. And a lot of what I've learned out here has been through the hard way. So hopefully these videos that we're making can help you all avoid learning the hard way, whether you're on a remote field course or whether you're on studying abroad in another country with Juniata College, or you know, what have you. Even if you're out on your own, just spring break or winter or summer break, just out on your own, wanting to be in the woods. Hopefully the skills that we teach you on these videos will help you out. So if there's nothing else that I can say to convince you to try to learn some of these survival skills, it's that for us humans, the more you know, the better off you are. So you don't have to have all the fancy, expensive gear and dress in your kind of earth tone clothing and kind of fit the part, or your tactical commando gear. You don't got to do any of that. But if you spend your time, pick up a field guide, just read through the field guide, or look through some stories from in the past of, you know, you'll find a lot of times a John or Jane Q. Public that they're just average Joes and Janes out there, and they find themselves in some sort of survival situation, and just see what did they do, the circumstances they were in, how did they react, what was the environment, the weather, were they injured, you know, things like that, and how did they respond. And you can learn a lot from that.